This is Jody with the Whiskey Rebellion Barcast. We're back again.
Tony.
Can't even make it through the first segue of it. But hey, listen, guys, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about barrel picks, store picks. Kind of a crazy little motley crew here tonight, but we also have Ryan with us tonight. He's from Colorado, if I remember correctly, and he's participated in 3 barrel picks. And we're going to let him speak a little bit about that. And then, of course, we're going to have our typical shenanigans that we always do, and the fun, and, of course, the constant roasting of on my page, the jackass in the top left. But anyway, guys, everybody, welcome to the show. Cheers. And as Billy would say, be good to yourself.
Be good to yourself.
How's everybody doing? How's your week been? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that first. How's everybody's week been?
Busy, but good busy though.
Interesting.
I'm up to 5 restaurants that carry my sauce.
Nice.
Nice.
My man.
I wasn't
My
able
man.
to get on last night, so I'm getting there.
Nice.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
I dig
That's
it.
what's up.
Are you producing anywhere yet? Are you still producing in the house?
Every warehouse that I've come across basically is 9 months out. And the crazy part is I have equipment waiting to be delivered that just don't know where to deliver it to.
Nice. Well, listen, let's talk about barrel picks. And I know that Ryan has participated, and he's with the Colorado bourbon community, correct? Correct. All right. And so, as we move forward and have that discussion with that, tell us the process. Like, what is it you do? How did you get into it? How'd you get selected to be part of it? Or did you participate by buying into a barrel? What did you do?
Well, I mean, there's a few different ways to do it, and just give you a little background. I run Colorado Bourbon Community. I founded it. It's a Facebook group. Started as a Facebook group, and it's kind of grown into more than that. Now there's some some paid memberships and stuff like that that's gone on. So, initially I started the group as just that, a group of guys that love bourbon that hang out and talk about it and whatever. So, as it kind of grew, really the first barrel pick that I was involved with was a local distributor here that reached out to me and was like, hey, would you be interested in coming in and tasting some private barrels with us? And it'd be no cost to you. You don't have to put any money down. Basically, you just pick a barrel, and then we'll distribute it out to the liquor stores, and then the liquor stores will just buy the barrel and your name's on it. So that's really how it kind of first got started. And that was probably only, 7, 8 months ago, maybe. It was the first time that happened. So these guys reached out to me. I came in, I brought someone else with me. And what I ended up tasting was a 3-chord barrel pick. So there's like 4 different 3-chord samples. We tasted through. It's fun. Kind of made a little bit of a afternoon out of it. Chose one, and I sent them the group logo. And after about 8 weeks or so, it was bottled, and then it was up to the liquor stores at that point to buy however much they wanted, and then it just kind of went out to the market.
Nice.
So that was my first introduction into barrel picks. It was the distributor that reached out to me.
That's kind of the exact same way that I was introduced into it. My local was like, hey, do you want to be involved in a barrel pick? I'm like, of course. I've been talking about that for a year. And he's like, and it was pretty much the same way. Here's 3 samples, essentially which one you like best. And then that's kind of how they did it. But continue on.
Yeah, so I mean, so that was that one, and that was zero risk, and essentially, other than the experience, zero reward to me or the group. It was just a fun thing to do. So my next experience was with Copper Sky, the local distillery here. Was we initially went in to taste through some 16-year light whiskeys that they had, and we were tasting through those, and then we went back to the distillery. He had Mike Root, the owner of the distillery, had more barrels there. Yep, there you go. That's a light whiskey right there.
Mike's been on the show too.
Yeah, this is a 13 year. So you said there was 16 year?
Yeah, he has been on the show.
Yeah, so yeah, I think 13 years what you held up there. Yeah, he's
Yep.
got 16 years in there now. But so anyway, we went in and started bullshitting in the distillery, and he's like, "Hey, you guys should try this honey barrel," and it was the batch one that he had us try at the time. Tasted it, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to just release this in the distillery." He's like, "I've got batch two coming out if you guys are interested." When I say you guys, it was me and one other group. It was Castle Rock Bourbon Society. The admin of that one was there, and we were kind of doing a joint barrel pick. So we ended up deciding we liked the honey barrel. Now that one worked a little different because we ended up purchasing that barrel. So we split the barrel between the two groups, purchased it, bottled it, and so we actually bought that barrel and then placed a markup on it and sold it in the group. So that was my second experience with the barrel pick. A little different. That one had a little risk on our side, but then we ended up making a bit of a profit for the group.
So, but you've done it 3 times, and the third time was also for your group?
So yeah, the third time was yet another little bit different scenario. That one I had a local liquor store reach out to me that wanted to do a joint group pick between our group and the store.
Right.
And,
That was what mine was, by the way.
Yeah. And
Allegedly the Whiskey Rebellion. It was just me. And and then the store. And I'm like, well, that's not really the Whiskey Rebellion, but sure. Continue.
Yeah, exactly. So that one, unlike the first two, the store was buying the barrel from the distributor and then basically putting both of our names on it. And it's very similar to the first scenario. No money out of pocket from the group, but also no margin for the group. It's just really another avenue for the store really to market and sell the barrels, since he'd have exposure in the group.
But it also puts more clout on you guys as a group, though, too, being selected to participate in a barrel pick that's going to be owned, and the risk is all going to be at the hands of the store.
Right.
And that they're wanting to use you guys as contributors to it because of name, And so they actually, the only risk would have been is if it would have been a bad pick for you guys and it looked negatively on the group as a profile, but I'm sure it sold perfectly fine, so it's all good.
Yeah, I mean, he dropped 6 cases off to me. I want to say, well, it was this weekend. He dropped it off to me on Saturday, and I've gone through, I think, 4 of the cases so far. So, yeah, I mean, it's being well received. We've got a couple more group picks lined up in the future. I've been talking to Lux Row Distillers, and we're kind of I'm planning a trip sometime next year to actually go out to the distillery and choose a barrel. In that scenario, what we'll do is I'm actually going to run that one through Casey, who owns Spirit Wine Provisions, a local liquor store here. He's offered to basically take the barrel as the retailer and then sell the barrel to me, since I can't buy barrels. I don't have a liquor license. I can't buy barrels directly from the distiller. So that's kind of how that's going to work. And it'll be very similar to what I did with Mike. He sold me the barrel at retail, cost, I should say, but at a retail level, he paid all the taxes and whatnot, or passed the taxes on to me. Same thing will happen with Casey. He'll buy the barrel from the distiller, pass it to me, and then I'll distribute it to the group.
Nice. So we all, all of us have had barrel picks. All of us have had store picks. I guess what I'm going to ask is, Chuck, what profile are you looking for in a barrel pick that you go, you know what, I dig this? You're on mute.
Thanks. That's a tough question, because I've actually expanded what I like and what I dislike, so much so that this Sagamore Spirit, for example, this cognac cask rye whiskey, something that I wouldn't have actually have chosen in the past because of cognac, for one.
Yep.
Wasn't my jam for the longest time. And rye, wasn't a big fan of that either until I've, started, getting more acclimated to purchasing some other things, such as rye, recently purchasing cognac for my wife, which I really enjoy myself. So I end up drinking that as well. But I don't know. Really, it's difficult to say because I like so many of the things now. I'm not just one dimensional like I once was years ago.
Right. I'm still having a hard time with the cognac, to be perfectly honest with you. It's not my jam. But I want to hear what everybody else is, because we all have different tasting profiles. But I will tell you this, because I know where Mal's going. The only Whistle Pig that I've ever liked, period, in the history of Whistle Pig is the one store pick, that barrel pick that I was able to acquire. And I don't know if it's, I really don't know. I mean, the owners that picked the barrel don't drink. So whoever picked it for them did a fabulous job, because it's more closely, it's obviously it's a rye, but it goes more towards my palate of a bourbon. It's got the I would say in a lot of the wheatness and stuff that you would get from, like, for example, a Weller, but it has a lot of the vanilla flavors that I personally enjoy, and that's on a 10-year too. So it's I mean, it's not my favorite taste, and it definitely didn't have my favorite profile, but it was a good purchase. And I was like, wow, I can't believe I was talking to a Whistle Pig since I swore off of them. And this is a pretty good one.
Sweeter.
What's
It's
that?
sweeter because you mentioned wheat, you mentioned vanilla, so it's sweetness.
Yeah, it's definitely has a
solid
sweeter
flavor.
profile. Yeah, that's what. So, because I do have a thing for cherry. Like my favorite Eagle Rare that I've ever received or purchased or whatever traded came from Chuck, and it came from a store pick barrel pick that he had up in Maryland, and that thing it's like a cherry bomb. That thing is sweet, and it's like a mouthful of cherries. It's awesome. It's like your first time, just the tip, like we were talking about last night.
For a second, just see how it feels. Hey, you're gonna get a bottle of Colorado cherry here, according to you, probably tomorrow, apparently.
Yeah, that's right. The potentially, I will hold my breath once I see the box delivered to the front porch. But yes, the Stranahan Diamond Peak, that is
correct.
That is one of my favorite. I'll be honest with you, it's one of my favorites only because of the cherry. It's not one of my favorite profiles, but it has that strong cherry taste that I want to have. Definitely as the fall starts coming around, when I want to be sitting outside by the fire pit, having a nice, I don't want to use the term smooth, but something simple to drink that has complexity to it, but doesn't have the, you're not sitting there taking away from the conversation or even the atmosphere of being outside. You may take a little bit in, go, okay, I'm picking that up and this, and then you're carrying on the conversation with the family, friends, whatever it might be. But Mal, go ahead.
It's complicated, but not confusing.
There you go.
That's kind of how
there you
I
go.
put it, yeah.
It's kind of like a much needed break from whatever's going on for just a second. Yeah. What about you, Mal?
Again, as Chuck said, it's a difficult and interesting question. Depends on the whiskey, really, as to what profile or what you're looking for in a store or a barrel pick. That's the answer I would give. I wouldn't be able to give a definitive answer, but I do like cherry. I do like sweet. And again, coming into the autumn or the fall, as you guys call it, I mean, year-round.
Which is it? Do we call it the autumn or the fall?
You call it fall, we call it autumn. So there you go.
You also call it rubbish. I mean, it's just trash, dude.
It's my favorite time of year, to be honest with you.
You call it a sidewalk just to remind yourselves that you're supposed to be walking on the side. It's a path. You know what I mean?
And you call it football.
I don't like football. Yeah, because we use our feet anyway. It doesn't matter. Cinnamon, and I'm going to get a lot of stick for this, but Chuck will back me up. I'm sure that sort of that leathery, suede taste. But cinnamon is.
Was that leathery, sweaty taste?
Leathery, suede taste.
Suedy. That would be much different than sweat.
I heard sweaty too.
I was like, I'm not sure that's a taste I want to ever put.
Again, it depends on the whiskey. It depends on the whiskey, dude. But yeah, I mean, I do love it.
Sure, you're not hanging out watching that show with what's his name, Samuel Jackson and John Travolta in it, and the little scene where they're the gimpy suit guy. Are you sure it's not that?
The gimp.
Yeah, sure that's not what you're into.
No, that's just all Pulp Fiction, dude.
Ooh.
Well, yeah, that's kind
Welcome
of
to the
that's
show,
kind of what
Ryan.
I do like. Yeah, I do like the sweet. I do like sort of the cherry flavors that you get in your stags and what have you. But cinnamon for me, that's kind of what I look for. Something that gets you right here, right here.
Mhm.
All right, there you go. We'll go from holding on to the side of Miles' head and doing whatever kind of naughty things with it to straight to Mark. Mark, what kind of profile you look for in a? And by the way, he picks when he sends me Maker's Mark, private selects or store picks. They are the absolute best I've ever had. They are fantastic. So he knows where to shop for them. He may have not ever been involved in one of the picks, but that profile that he picks up on those. What?
Yeah. So I like the bitter honey. If you can remember bitter honey candy, where you get a little corn, you get a little grain and honey. That honey, that Werther's, that I love that. I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
But I love it when it's that complexity. I like that. As I always say, I like that perfect blend. I hate when it's just all corn. I hate when it's all ethanol. I just like that perfect blend. I would say, as far as my store picks, my two favorite.
Homeostasis.
Yeah.
That's it. Homeostasis.
You go, boy. Look at Dr. Jody. I'm proud of you, man.
Yeah. Hey, that degree done something for me. I know what that is.
But yeah, so again, you guys always hear me talk about it. I've talked about it on several shows. My guy Bridge, Sprayberry in Marietta, just outside of Atlanta.
By the way, we
And
need to be
also-
on that. Some of that Sprayberry. That looked fantastic. That was a nice dark looking bourbon.
Yeah. And my guys here, and I'm gonna talk to them about maybe getting on a pick or two, at a place called Star here. They do a really good job. And every pick that I've had of both places, I've liked.
Nice.
And I mean, it doesn't matter if it's Davidson County or Maker's Mark it doesn't matter. It just across the board. Wheat, corn, doesn't matter. Even
Nice.
rise.
Dig it. Our diva, Billy, what do you think, man?
Why I got to be a diva?
Because we're waiting on you to finish a cigar to start the host show.
Well, listen, I'm a cigar smoker. You don't mess with a cigar smoker.
But I did.
Do it on the show.
Yeah. For me, I like something with a little spice to it. Something that's well-rounded. I don't mind a cherry flavor as long as it's not overpowering. I don't mind the honey stuff, but is it something that I'm gonna actually seek out? I don't think I will seek out a honey product. You guys know me, I love Michter's and the Heaven Hill bottle and bonded 7-year, things along those lines. I'm actually probably in the next month, I'm going to be involved in a store pick of Larceny with my local store. So I'm looking forward to that, just the whole experience. That should be a lot of fun. And actually looking to get myself deeper into store picks, barrel picks, things like that. Broaden my horizon because I'm the type of guy that once I find something I like, I have a tendency to stick to it because I know what I'm getting. I don't mind branching out, but if I'm going to spend anything over $60 for a bottle, I want to kind of know what I'm getting myself into,
I definitely understand that because I'm the type of guy that obviously has had more than one wife, more than two wives. So I can understand where I might want some variety in my life, where you may find the tendency that, hey, when you find the right one, you're going to stay with it. So I get it. Totally get it.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, it's just easier that way. But again, I do like trying new stuff. The stuff that you guys recommend. I love when Chuck does a review on something. For me, it's almost like homework. Based on his reviews, I will go out and get my hands on something if I can get it. Here in Miami, we can get our hands on a lot of the quote unquote big name stuff, but stuff that's regional, not so much, So, you can get Blanton's, you can get Eagle Rare, you can get the Heaven Hills, you can get all the Maker's Marks and things like that. But you guys have a tendency to get your hands on stuff that's a little bit more regional. Like if I walk into a store, any store here, and I ask for Big Mustache, nobody's gonna know what I'm talking about.
No, but it's
You know,
fantastic.
Yeah, and it's gorgeous. If I ask for Lever's Fork, nobody here is gonna know what I'm looking for. I mean, and the big box stores, they have some stuff, but it's all commercial stuff, if you will. I mean, just for kicks and giggles, I once asked a guy for a bottle of Eagle Rare, and he laughed at me. He just laughed. Like, he's like, if you got Eagle Rare, I'll buy it from you. So it was like, yeah, we don't get a lot of regional stuff. So for me, with all the bottles I've got sent from you guys, that's what I'm looking forward to getting into, more of the regional stuff.
Nice.
By bottles, you mean the bottles of dog shampoo and massage oil.
Right. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Mhm.
All right. So Rob, how about you, man?
Well,
I mean, we know you're keeping up with our messages because we can hear it. So tell me what you're into.
do you really want to know that? So as everyone knows, I'm in a controlled state. So, and I travel in mainly controlled states. Everything that I've got that is, other than one or two things I may have had sent to me, is our state controlled picks. The Penelope I'm drinking tonight is a Fine Wines and Good Spirits here in PA pick. All the Maker's Mark's private selections I got were state picks from Ohio, and I got one from a state pick from Virginia. I'm looking for something that's got a little bit of sweetness to it. I really enjoyed last year's private selections from Ohio. They had a chocolate marmalade that was just fantastic. Chocolate, and it had that orange citrus thing going on. So it was a really, really good combination. If you ever had chocolate covered orange rinds or chocolate covered oranges.
Yeah.
That's
You had a bread and butter pudding one there as well, didn't you?
Yes, I have. I have a something pudding, bread pudding one. I've got grandma's something or other back there. But
It's not her lobster beast though, right?
No.
Rob, I got a question for you. Since all that stuff is state controlled, how do they make their picks? I'm sure it's not just some computer making it. So obviously somebody's doing it. So somebody has a sweet job with the state.
There is somebody at the liquor control board that will go down to Kentucky and do the state picks down there. I do belong to one group here in Pittsburgh. It's the Pittsburgh Whiskey Friends. They worked with another group out of Philadelphia, and they've been able to get to be involved with the state when they did certain barrel picks. And they got first dibs on the bottles when they came out. So they had to go through the state. It had to go to the state's warehouses on each side of the state, and they had to pick it up in what Pennsylvania calls SLO, it's special liquor order. They had to order it through their state store. Multiple cases were delivered to the state stores, and then we went and got them through those. They went and paid for it, paid all the taxes on it, similar to what Ryan had talked about. The state got all their money out of that before we got our bottles. So I got a Ragtime Rye. It's out of New York. It's a 4-year-old rye that was pretty sweet, but somebody from the state has to be involved somewhere.
So the stores.
Right. No, it just makes me wonder, because it's like whoever's doing the tasting for the state, I would hope they have a more than educated palate, like they actually have some experience or something. I mean, what if they're having an off day or something,
I seriously highly doubt it. It's a bureaucrat, man.
So a store pick is not actually a store pick. It's assigned to the store, is what you're saying.
Right. It's assigned to the store. So when they have a Maker's Mark pick coming out here in a month. They may go and get 6 barrels, get them all cased up, and they'll go to their facility in Harrisburg or somewhere, and then it just gets sent to stores throughout the state.
But they actually pick which store, right?
The store would have to invest in it for it to be considered their store.
No, the
state-run stores, they're all the same. They're ABCs.
Right.
Oh, that's
at least in
right.
Virginia.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
But so my whole thing is, let's say
Wow.
we all were store owners, and this person decided everybody would get a case or two, except for Ryan and Chuck, just because they don't like Ryan and Chuck for whatever reason. Is
No,
It doesn't work that way in the state runs. The state runs, first of all, aren't privately owned, as far as I remember anyway.
Right.
They're
Ohio
not
and
like a
Virginia, or PA and Virginia are that way. Ohio's a little different. The distribution is all state distribution on spirits, but the stores are privately owned, so they work out their own deals on wine and beer, but the state kind of controls what comes to them in Ohio.
Now, Rob, let me ask you a question, because I do know that I know there's at least 2 of Pennsylvania ABC stores on City Line Avenue, just west of Philly.
Yep.
And one of them, the one by Bala Kenwood, they seem to get some. I don't know. There's an ABC store.
There are 3 stores. There are in the state of PA. There are 3 what they call
Urban boutiques.
urban boutique stores.
Yep.
There's 2 in Philly County, and there's one
Yep.
here in Allegheny County, and it's on
Well,
the other.
let's look at this. What we'll do is we'll carry this on to the next episode. So, guys, always keep watching us. And this is the Whiskey Rebellion Barcast. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers,
Thanks,
all.
guys.
Cheers.
What's your name? What? What is your name? Tony!